now here we are going to discuss different milk products we are getting. Curd is the very basic milk product we are getting from the milk. So what we actually do, milk is going to be inoculated with a LAB, that is lactic acid bacteria. This specifically to say we are going to use Lactobacillus acidophilus. This is a genus name, this is the species name. You have to underline them separately. Remember this well. Whenever you use biological name for my organisms, you have to underline them separately and keep this at a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius or lesser. Could be around 30 also, no problem. Then the milk is turned into curd. So we have already discussed what are the changes actually happens over there. Lactose is converted into lactic acid, which lowers the pH, which leads to coagulation and partial digestion of milk protein casein, that finally results in the formation of curd. So what is the use of this curd? Curd is more nutritious than milk. How? Because it increases this partial digestion process, everything increases the nutritive value. It has increased quantity of vitamin B12 and LAB, the lactic acid bacteria, which we normally refer as probiotics. Okay, this probiotics is actually good for our stomach. It basically checks the growth of the microbes in our stomach. Okay, it basically checks the growth of microbes in the stomach and intestine. So it is very highly beneficial. That is why we have to consume curd a lot. Curd or buttermilk or yogurt, in any one form we have to consume it. The next product we have here is yogurt. The same procedure is followed except for the microbe. The microbe used here is Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Okay, and the temperature is also slightly higher, which is around 40 to 45 degrees Celsius, so that you get the characteristic flavor of lactic acid and acetaldehyde over there. So curd and yogurt basically don't have much difference in their appearance and taste and all. Very slight differences there. Yogurt is going to be a lot more creamier and thicker than the curd. Curd is kind of liquidy compared to yogurt. Okay, then buttermilk. We normally consume buttermilk. How do we normally get buttermilk? We take curd, we churn it nicely so that you separate the butter, and what is left is the buttermilk. That is how normally we get it. So that is normally explained as acidulated liquid after churning of butter from the curd. So the liquid you are getting after churning butter out of the curd is referred as buttermilk. But there is a specific way to prepare buttermilk in a large scale. For that we are going to use milk with Streptococcus cremaris, Streptococcus lactis, Lactobacillus acidophilus and Leuconostoc species. So we are going to include 4 different microbes with the milk. You are going to inoculate the milk with 4 different microbes, and it is going to be kept at 22 degrees Celsius for 18 hours. It is a quite long time, right? Compared to yogurt and curd, this is going to take a long time. If you don't have this much of time, you want to get buttermilk easily, just churn the curd to get the butter out, so you got the buttermilk immediately. Then other preparation we have is sour cream. It is sour cream. What is sour cream basically? Actually, it is a cream which is fermented. Okay, basically all these are fermented products only. So the cream which is being fermented is used. Actually, we don't use in our locality as very commonly. So this is obtained by churning of milk. So you are going to get a cream by churning the milk and then ferment it with Streptococcus lactis and Leuconostoc cremoris. Okay, then comes cheese, our most favorite product. Okay, we started eating cheese recently when all these pizza burger shops started coming to our locality. Before that we don't use cheese, not even paneer. Okay, cheese is basically identified or divided into 3 types based on the water content present in them: soft cheese, semi-hard cheese, hard cheese. Soft cheese has 50 to 80% water, semi-hard has 45% water, hard cheese has less than 40% of water. Okay, then based on their how they are prepared, they are further divided into other types. Let us see the basic preparation process now. Cheese normally prepared by curdling the milk with lactic acid bacteria. So you get a curd. Then the curd should be treated with any one of this thing, rennet, which is usually casein coagulase enzyme activity containing material, or renin, which is obtained from calf's stomach. Okay, renin is usually obtained from calf's stomach. And then either the fruit extract of Withania coagulans. All these have curdling effect. The curd is going to be further curdled so that excess water from the curd is removed out. So when you add all these, you get a solid curd part and the liquid part. The liquid part is referred as whey. Okay, this is also rich in protein, and many of the bodybuilders, even those who are dieting, often use whey protein, the protein isolated from this liquid. Even this can be consumed, but it doesn't have any taste. Okay, and the solid part, what we get, the curdled part, is referred as cheese. Based on the preparation method, cheese can be of three types: raw cheese, unripened cheese or cottage cheese, and ripened cheese. What is raw cheese? Raw cheese is paneer. Normally we call it as paneer in our locality. Milk is going to be combined with lemon juice or yogurt or anything, any acid related water, normally lemon juice we use. When you are boiling the milk, boil the milk first, simmer the stove, add lemon juice, mix it nicely in a gentle temperature. You see solid separate, solid curds separate, and liquid part separate. Liquid part is whey and solid part is cheese, which normally we refer as paneer, that is raw cheese. How to get unripened or cottage cheese? Okay, what you are going to do is separate this whey liquid out and take the cheese and drain it. Drain the excess liquid by hanging it with a cloth. Okay, so you get a solid cheese devoid of much water from there. Now ferment it with the help of lactobacillus, streptococcus and leuconostoc with rennet. Now it is partially fermented. Okay, and you get cottage cheese. It is a very basic cheese. Okay, then how to ripen it? Take the cottage cheese, dip it in a brine solution. Brine is a salt solution, normal sodium chloride solution, and wipe it off to remove the excess salt from there. Then you have to add fungus or bacteria of your choice to get a characteristic flavor, taste and texture over there. So in this way the protein content of the cheese is added more, and it takes quite a lot of time to acquire it, at least minimum of 15 days to maximum time, whatever it is required for the specific microbe you are using. So the very common cheese we are going to get in this process by this ripened cheese method is Swiss cheese, Roquefort cheese and Camembert cheese. These are the three different varieties of commercial value which are very commonly used nowadays. So Swiss cheese is acquired by fermenting unripened cottage cheese with bacteria named Propionibacterium shermani. And what is the characteristic feature of the Swiss cheese? Presence of large carbon dioxide holes. You will see in the Tom and Jerry, the cheese triangles where there are large holes, right? So that is the characteristic feature of this. Swiss cheese is that one. Okay, it appears exactly the same. Roquefort cheese is produced by fermenting unripened cottage cheese with fungi named Penicillium roqueforti. And Camembert cheese is prepared by fermenting cottage cheese with fungi Penicillium camemberti. This is extremely important. What is here? These three. It is extremely important. It has been repeated so many times in objective as well as in subjective. So focus on this. Then comes bread. How do we normally get bread? Take wheat flour or maida, white flour, whatever you want, and knead the flour with yeast culture. You get yeast powder, dried yeast, mix it with warm water so that it becomes active. Then add it with the wheat flour, knead a nice dough out of it. So what is the yeast we are using here? Baker's yeast. The biological name is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. And you are not going to bake it immediately. You have to wait for some time. You have to keep it covered in a warm place for some time. So what happens to the dough when you keep it covered? What happens is leavening. Leavening is a process, or leavening is a process which is happening over there. What actually happens is there is fermentation happening over there, which makes the dough increases in size. So if you keep it half vessel filled with the dough, after fermentation of a few hours, the dough level would have raised to the maximum of the vessel. So what actually brings about this fermentation process? First, yeast secrete 3 types of enzyme: amylase, maltase and zymase. Amylase is an enzyme which digests starch present in the flour we are using into maltose. Maltase digests maltose into glucose. Now this glucose will undergo anaerobic fermentation process, anaerobic respiration, which is referred as fermentation process. Fermentation is carried out by zymase enzyme. It is a complex of several enzymes which is responsible for anaerobic respiration. The final product you are getting at the end of this is ethanol and carbon dioxide. Ethanol is responsible for a kind of sour taste we are getting, and carbon dioxide is responsible for the softness and porous nature. So while you are baking the dough, what actually happens? Ethanol evaporates because you are going to bake it under 120 degrees Celsius. The chemical ethanol evaporates around 70 degrees Celsius. So obviously ethanol is going to be evaporated. Carbon dioxide also going to be removed from there due to this baking process at a high temperature. So finally you get a soft porous bread. Then the very common things we are using in our home, dosa, idli batter. How normally we make dosa and idli batter? This every one of you know. We soak rice and urad dal separately and grind them in a smooth paste, mix them nicely with the salt. We don't add any microbes over there, because when you are nicely mixing the rice and urad dal paste together into a batter, the airborne pathogens got settles over there. So what are the airborne pathogens? Sorry, they are not pathogens, I am extremely sorry. Airborne microbes settles over there. That is, the microbes present in the air settles in the batter. What are the microbes settles in the batter? Leuconostoc and Streptococcus species. These are naturally present in the air. They get mixed with the batter. When you keep it covered for overnight, fermentation takes place, and that leads to the rise up of the batter, which finally leads to the soft idlis and dosas we are getting. Okay, then jalebi is another common sweet dish we get. It is usually prepared from the semi-liquid wheat flour. Wheat flour, you have to take wheat flour, mix it with water and add yeast, ferment it for some time, around 2 to 3 hours. Then take it in a bag with a small hole and make coils out of it and fry it in oil. Deep fry it in oil, then dip it in a sugar syrup. That's it. That you got jalebi now. Okay, so that is also another fermented product only. So there are various other foods like tofu, temp and sufu. These are some of the fermented products we are getting. And soy sauce is a very common available fermented product which is prepared from soybeans and wheat. In Assam and that areas, Nahala and Assam, and in those areas, fermented bamboo shoot is consumed as a food. Okay, like in a pickle, or it could be cooked with food material directly. Okay, sausages you would have seen commonly in movies and all. Sausage which we are getting is actually fermented product of meat and fish. The fish flesh which is there. Okay, so fermented pickled cabbage is known as sauerkraut. These are some of the products. We don't normally see these things in India, but in other countries these are very commonly available. And the next very common product we see in India is toddy, especially in southern India, in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. This is available. Toddy means kallu. ஓகே, பதனி உங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும். பதனி வந்து என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, பனைமரத்தில் குருத்து வருது இல்லையா, குருத்துங்கிறது ஸ்பாடிக்ஸ், அந்த பூ வரதுக்கு உண்டான வர்றது ஸ்பாடிக்ஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது தான் அதில் இன்ஃப்ளோரசன்ஸோட பேர், அந்த டைப். ஓகே, ஸோ இந்த ஸ்பாடிக்ஸை வந்து அந்த குருத்து வெளியில் வரும்போது அதை கட் பண்ணி அதில் ஒரு பானையை கவுத்து வச்சுருவாங்க. ஸோ த லிக்விட் வந்து அதுலேருந்து யூஸ் ஆகுது இல்லையா, அதை கலெக்ட் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. எங்கேருந்து ஆக்சுவலாக அந்த லிக்விட் யூஸ் ஆகுறதுனா ஃப்ளோயம் சாப் தான் யூஸ் அவுட் ஆகும். அதை கலெக்ட் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. அதை அப்படியே ராவாக அப்படியே ஃபெர்மெண்ட் பண்ணாமல் அப்படியே கன்சியூம் பண்ணோம்னா நம்ம பதனின்னு சொல்லி கன்சியூம் பண்ணுவோம். இதுவே ஃபெர்மெண்ட் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா அதை தான் நம்ம கல்லுன்னு சொல்கிறோம். இது பனைமரத்துலேருந்தும் எடுப்பாங்க, தென்னை மரத்துலேருந்தும் எடுப்பாங்க. ஸோ இங்கிலீஷில் அதோட பேர் டாடி. Okay, it is a fermented beverage, alcoholic beverage. 6% of alcohol is there, so alcohol content is low over there. So that's it about the food products of how which could be prepared in houses. Thank you.